Luca, like so many of the people in the office, all we are working together with the same philosophy. And this is so important because when you come to, if you one day you come to visit La Spinetta or Contratto, you can walk in the vineyard, you can see our farmer, you can ask special questions to our farmer, they answer it in the right way because all together we are working in the same with the same philosophy. It means quality philosophy. It means respect. It means respect for the variety. It means respect for the terroir. It means respect for the environment too, and for you guys. You know, this is La Spinetta and Contratto as well. And the first vintage of La Spinetta was 1977, and the first wine was Moscato. After that, okay, we start to produce also red wine because I think in Piedmont, of course, in any great producer, any very exciting producer, you want to work with grapes like Barbera, Nebbiolo, and that's it. Okay, you want to produce Barbaresco Barolo. This is why we moved from Moscato. We started with Barbera. And after that, okay, in 1995, we bought the first single vineyard Barbaresco, was Gallina. 1996, Starderi, 1997, Vairano, 2000, Barolo. It means, okay, our attention at that time, it was all about Nebbiolo because we think Nebbiolo is one of the most important grapes in the world. I want to be very, very modest. I think is the most important grape in the world. I'm sorry about that, I have to say that because if you are a good farmer, if you're able to manage Nebbiolo in the vineyard, you can make unbelievable fruit, you can make unbelievable wine. And you know, the good thing about Nebbiolo is so unique. It's so unique. If you have a glass of Langhe Nebbiolo, glass of Barbaresco, Barolo in front of you, or Roero, you go straight to Piemonte, you go straight to Langhe, you go straight to Nebbiolo. After that, you like it or not. But for sure, you cannot be confused with some other varietal. This is the most important thing. And they try to work with Nebbiolo in so many different countries, like, okay, of course, Australia or Napa Valley or some other, but it doesn't work. Thank God, it's just for us, just for us. If you want to have Nebbiolo taste, Barbaresco taste, or Barolo taste in your mouth, you have to buy from Piemonte, from Langhe. This is very important for us. It's not easy variety, but we have spent a lot of time in the vineyard and the cellar too to make fantastic Nebbiolos. And the good Nebbiolos, you can enjoy Langhe Nebbiolo La Spinetta, for example, okay, when it's young. But if you want to keep Langhe Nebbiolo La Spinetta in your cellar for 10, 15 years, it's no problem at all. And the same about Barbaresco. They have a very, very, very long longevity. The longevity is huge, but they are also approachable from the beginning now. Because with the work in the vineyard, you can make much more approachable Nebbiolo, Barbaresco, Barolo from the beginning because the production is very small. Okay, the balance is in the fruit. The balance is in the fruit. This is our philosophy for Nebbiolo, for Barbaresco, for Barolo, for Barbera, or also in Tuscany. It's the same thing in Tuscany. In Tuscany, we are working with Sangiovese. It's not easy varietal too. It's not easy varietal. It's tough to do a good job in the vineyard with Sangiovese, but at the end of the day, it's so important for the producer, any producer. It could be Pinot Noir producer, could be Merlot producer, could be Barbaresco. No, I'm sorry, Nebbiolo, Barbera producer. Is the most important thing is to be able to find the balance in the fruit. When we harvest in the fruit, the balance is there. This means after that, you don't have to do any kind of manipulation in the cellar, you know, because the balance is there. You must be just good in the cellar, good to follow the quality from the fruit. That's it, nothing else. This is the philosophy of La Spinetta, and we are working very hard for that. In 2011, we decided to buy unbelievable property in Canelli, because you know why? Because we love Champagne, we love Metodo Classico since long time, and it was the last opportunity for us to do something very, very, very important in Piedmont, and not just that, to buy this beautiful building. We are in Contratto right now. This beautiful building, we took about 1867 building, unbelievable. It's a historical cellar for sparkling wine production in Piemonte, or Metodo Classico, Contratto. It was the second one to make Metodo Classico in Piemonte. And the cellar is part of UNESCO World Heritage Site. It means it's something beautiful. I can spend maybe a couple of hours to describe the cellar, but the most important thing for you guys, the easy thing is to come here and to see, because when you see the cellar, you can understand what I'm talking about. It's all underground, 6,000 meters underground. Underground, it means it's 20 meters deep, okay? 20 meters, not more than that, 30, 38, 20, 38, up to 40, okay? Underground, and we have almost 1.5 million bottles there. They're sleeping there because our idea was to do something very special. What does it mean special? Not something easy, but something with a long character, a big character, a great structure, a lot of minerality. This is why we are doing the best in the vineyard. After that, we are keeping our sparkling wine, our Metodo Classico, after the second fermentation for minimum of 4, 5, 6, 10 years for the special cuvée. You know, it means it's very, 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 very important, business for us. It was very important. It was very important idea to do something special in this area. And the good thing about Contratto are the vineyards. All the vineyards are located in very high elevation. It means 700-meter high elevation vineyard. It's a lot, from 700 to 800-meter high elevation vineyard. Beautiful exposure. South exposure. The soil is all about the stones. It's about it has a lot of sand. Lots of sand. It is giving to the wine a lot of minerality, complexity. Just to tell you something, okay, don't get me wrong, I don't want to say anything bad about Franciacorta, but in Franciacorta, they harvest the fruit in the end of July, in the beginning of August. Contratto, we harvest the fruit in the second week of September. More or less like champagne, the same thing, really. I love to say, I'm sorry I have to say this because it's true, Contratto is making the best Italian champagne. Sorry, but it's true. If you want to taste Contratto, if you want to compare Contratto with some great Metodo Classico, you have to go to buy great bottle of champagne from grower producer, from somebody's doing good job in the vineyard and the cellar as well. This Contratto, we are producing, and now today we're going to taste the Millesimato. The Millesimato is from the younger wines we have. It's a blend. It's a blend with Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. It means 80 and 20. 80 and 20. You know, this is Contratto, and we are very proud about Contratto. We are very happy. And also, we are happy also because people, they understand what I'm talking about. They understand if they really want to have something special from Pimo, from Italy, Metodo Classico, Contratto is the one. Contratto is the one. It's the first one, always. Not in quantity, in quality, because we own 30 plus 10, okay, almost 40 hectares of vineyard, and our production is less than 200,000 bottles. Think about that. It's nothing. It's 4,000 bottles per hectare. No, think about the normal production in Champagne or in Franciacorta for sparkling wine. We took about from 10 to 15,000 bottles. Completely different thing. Because also in Contratto, we are working with the same La Spinetta philosophy. Low quantity and very high quality. Low quantity, high quality. And that it was from my father. My father was a fantastic farmer. He always told us, okay, guys, if you want to do a good job, of course, you want to make the best wine from Piemonte, do this. Don't think about the quantity, think about the quality. It will be a longer way to reach the point, but for sure you will reach the point to be one of the most important producer like La Spinetta or sparkling wine producer like Contratto. Do you have some question for me? Amir, I'm drinking a glass of Contratto now, okay? Oh, you have Contratto too? My God. Tell me if I say something wrong, something you cannot combine with the quality. Of this one? This is okay. We do actually. This is 2015. After the second fermentation, it was with us for 4 years, minimum 4 years, 4 to 8 months. But this is the minimum. Like I said before, from 48 months minimum, we go up to 1 year on the list because it's so important. This is so important for us. We have some now. We are disgorging this morning. I saw we are disgorging 2011 900 Cuvée 900 2011. We disgorge now. We are in the market now with a special Cuvée. Special Cuvée is 95% Pinot Noir and 5% Chardonnay from our best vineyard. The special Cuvée. Now we are in the market with 2012. You know, this is why it's It's not good for business, but it's good for us because because we really want to express from this Alta Langa one of the best metodo classico you can have, not just from Piemonte, in general. Yeah, in the past I used to say method champenoise. Now I cannot say anymore because my friends champagnist doesn't like that. They don't like that. Yeah. But you can feel in this wine, you can feel the freshness, you can feel the minerality, beautiful aromas, no? It's something you can enjoy right now, but if you want to keep it yourself for the 10 years, it's not problem. Actually, it's better. It could be even better than today. It's great gastronomic wine. Contratto doesn't produce sparkling wine like Prosecco just for aperitif. We produce wine for food. That's food, and Contratto is producing sparkling wine, method class for food. Wine you can pair with so many kind of food, not just fish, seafood, not just antipasti, some piece of meat is perfect, or Parmigiano is perfect. Trust me, this is great food wine. This is great food wine. Yeah. Well, by Pinot Noir, because like I said before, our vineyard, they're very high elevation. No? We have some Chardonnay, and the Chardonnay is we plant the Chardonnay because, okay, now I'll tell you the exposures. We have east, southeast, south, and west and west, because they are the exposures on the vineyard. We dedicate the south for Chardonnay, and the rest is for Pinot Noir, because we talk about very high elevation. You know what it means? Because a Chardonnay, a Pinot Noir is ripening before the Chardonnay. This is why we put Pinot Noir in west, east, and southeast. The south is dedicated to the Chardonnay. Also the soil. The soil is perfect. The soil is perfect. I said before, okay, that's full of stones. Okay, we are still taking off the stone from the vineyard after 10 years. We just finished a couple of days ago to go again with the tractor to take off the stones from the vineyard. It's fantastic. The best. Also think about the last time those vineyard was years ago. The soil is virgin, completely virgin. You know what it means? It can give to the grapes so many beautiful things, so many different mineralities. Yeah, we can feel in the wine. You can feel in the wine. Yeah. Okay. Yes, close. Di qua. Yeah. Yeah. This is true, 200% true. Think about now in Piedmont. In Piedmont, we have the indigenous grapes. We have so many indigenous grapes, but the most important indigenous grape is Nebbiolo. You know why? Because the vegetation is very long. It's the first start of vegetation, is the last we harvesting. Because long, if the vegetation period is very long, it means a lot of complexity. Complexity comes from there. Very long vegetation period. It means because the Nebbiolo is always the first and there's the last we harvesting, but the complexity from there. And this is why we have to plant the producer in Alta Langa. If they want to do fantastic job and they make great wine, they have to go out. Go out. Like that, they can keep this vegetation period very long, not just 3 months, 4 months, 5, 6 months. I think it's the best way for me. Okay.
Luca, if you can unmute yourself so we can hear part of the conversation.
use only the wine. If you want to use one of those, I only have to pay for one vintage. Then the grade is everything. It's so many, and so you want to, and also it's about wine. And also it's more pressed. The Pinot Noir is not pressed, right? So we don't. We do everything organic in the vineyard. We don't crush. No, we crush the fruit, but we don't press the fruit because I don't want to have this. I really want to avoid the problem with some color, okay, the tannin, the color in the juice. This is why we don't press. We crush the fruit and put the fruit in the press, and we collect the juice by gravity. Okay, it means if you are pressing, we can go up to 75%. If you don't press, not more than 45%. But we talk about Pinot Noir, and some color is going to the wine, no, onto the juice. But we don't use any chemical stuff to take off the color because we did everything great until there, and now in the end I have to add some chemical stuff because I want to take off the color. It's stupid. I'm sorry, but we don't do that. We don't do that. This is why when you taste our contratto wines, it could be the Misimato, it could be the Blanc de Noir from Pinot Noir, 80% or 100% Pinot Noir, you can see this color, but this is fantastic. I love that. I love that. It means no manipulation in the cellar, nothing. Yeah. Do you have wine in front of you guys? Hello? Are you still there? No. Rosalinda?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, are we okay?
Okay, next is the Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay. All we have, there are some questions, or we are going to get the question in the end of the tasting. Collect all the questions.
I think there were 2 questions which you answered. So no more question at the moment.
Okay. How do they find the wine? Are you tasting the wine with us? They are testing the wine with us or not?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Now we are going to Sauvignon.
Okay.
Okay. Now we talk about something special for to be in Piedmont, because Piedmont is Langhe, not Piedmont. Langhe is very famous, like I said before, for the indigenous grapes, Barbera, Moscato, Nebbiolo, Freisa, Favorita, Arnese, so that's the stuff. But some producer like us, okay, they try to do something different, because in Langhe, I talk about Alta Langhe, I talk about Langhe area. We don't have a lot of varietal for white wine production, besides Nasceta, okay. But and we try, as some producers, they try to do something different with international grapes. And Sauvignon for us is international grapes. We own this beautiful vineyard, very high elevation vineyard, again, 600-meter high elevation vineyard. And but it's our goal. The production is nothing. We talk about 5,000 bottles, more or less. Some vintages is 4,000, some of the vintages 6,000, but more or less it's fine. The average production is 5,000. But for us to approach this kind of varietal, not indigenous varietal, it was very important before to do something like that, to have idea which Sauvignon we like it, which is the way, which is the best wine from Sauvignon, 100% Sauvignon, we like it. And we went exactly to Sancerre, to Loire Valley. This is why in our Sauvignon, you cannot feel alcohol, because the alcohol is 12.5%. You feel a lot of minerality, great acidity. You don't feel this kind of, I'm sorry, pipi di gatto, sorry, not that, but this aroma. But you feel something, you feel the sage. You feel so many beautiful aromas. And another good thing about wine like this is wine for today, but if you really want to keep in the cellar for a long time, you can do that. You can do that. We tasted 2000 Sauvignon. We tasted 2001 and 3 Sauvignon, Lange Sauvignon from La Spinetta. They're still beautiful wine. They are unbelievable wine. They are wine forever, forever. No, and they have this special character. It is not a typical. I'm sorry I said to say that, but it's not a typical Italian Sauvignon. It has nothing to do with 15% alcohol Sauvignon, rich and sweet. It's not that. And that is something we don't like it, because we have also our taste in white wine production. We don't like very high alcohol wine. If you talk about white wine, we don't like to drink 14%, 50% of Sauvignon or Chardonnay or Timorasso as well. Okay, no, this is so important for us to maintain this kind of character. And this wine, if you taste blind, you don't go to Italy. But this is not because I prefer first, because it's our taste. Because of our taste, and we introduced this new thing about Timorasso, because now we are working. We bought property already planted, vineyard already planted with Timorasso. This year will be our second production, and we are going to plant quite a lot of vineyard. In total, we are going to reach 30 hectares of vineyard. Timorasso. Timorasso is special varietal in Colli Tortonesi. I don't know if you like, if you know or not this, if you tasted Timorasso or not, but it's something very special, because like Nebbiolo is something very unique. Unique in the vineyard and unique in the glass. It means in the vineyard it's very tough to manage. Timorasso is a variety for farmers, not for somebody who wants to make wine. No, for farmers. You are not a great farmer, you cannot manage Timorasso in the vineyard. Okay, and then when you have a glass of Timorasso, you are there immediately, like Nebbiolo. You cannot be confused. You are in Timorasso, but also there we decide to do Timorasso in our way, with our taste. We don't make any Timorasso with 14.5, 15% alcohol. I don't get me wrong. I don't want to say anything bad about them. They're good wine, great wine. But our idea about white wine, it means to make something very low in alcohol, 13, 12.5, but a lot of minerality, lot good acidity, lot of complexity, something you can also edge, something you can see the evolution. The first year, okay, you can feel something very green. After that, after 2 years, 3 years, it's going to have this kind of minerality. Also, this kind of gasoline, petrol is going to the Riesling direction. You know what I mean? But in the end, you still have this great character, Timorasso character. Think about that. In the past, the Barbaresco producers, they used to say Timorasso is the Nebbiolo Bianco. Really, for those producers, Timorasso is still the Nebbiolo Bianco. And we believe in this varietal, and we decide to do something very typical from Piedmont, original from Piedmont, indigenous from Piedmont, but made in different way than what the other producers they're making, with our taste. Okay. You have some questions about this Lange Bianco?
Can't see any question. I think we can go on the number 3.
Luca.
There's one from Giles, actually.
Oh, the Sauvignon Blanc, I'll tell you immediately, the first vintage was 2000. It means the Sauvignon Blanc, it was planted in 1996. Very small vineyard, eh? Very small vineyard. Oh, we do. Okay, we are keeping in a big cask. It means 18 hectoliters oak, and also some barrels. But now we are in 2018 vintage. We just bought in 2018 vintage. It means, okay, we are keeping there for 2-3 years, and then we bottling. But like I said before, it's wine forever. It's wine you can keep in the cellar for a long time, no? Because it has this great concentration, but it has also this great acidity, minerality, something very, yeah. I think it's fantastic Sauvignon expression. Perfect. Luca, vai con Nebbiolo. Luca is doing Nebbiolo. This is our aperitif, eh? You know, I don't drink coffee. I don't drink coffee. What I'm doing in the morning? 11 o'clock, I need a glass of wine. Wow. Oh, yeah, fantastic. Vai pure. Esce fai tu. Ecco. Facciamo, vai.
So, everyone has the Nebbiolo in the glass? You do? This is it is a Lange Nebbiolo on the label, but it is actually, in reality, it is a declassified Barbaresco. La Spinetta started to produce Lange Nebbiolo in 2004. That was the first vintage for Nebbiolo. Until then, La Spinetta was producing Barbaresco and was producing Barolo. And so 2004, we started to release a Lange Nebbiolo from a single vineyard Barbaresco, which is Starderi. A part of the vineyard had to be replanted. And so sorry. And so when this younger part was ready to release some fruit in 2004, Giorgio and his son Andrea, they were a little bit worried about the fact to blend these grapes coming from the younger part of the vineyards with the Starderi brew or release a new one. So they decided to go ahead with a new label, with a Lange Nebbiolo, because the grapes were coming from younger vines. And this is an important part of the entire La Spinetta philosophy. It is so for Contratto, so the millesimato is coming from the younger vineyards, while the Blonde Noir is coming from the older Pinot Noir vineyard. And it is the same for Chardonnay Lydia. It is the same for in Toscana with the Sangiovese. So Il Nero di Casanova, which is our entry, Sangiovese is coming from 20 years old vines, while the other single vineyard, or the Chianti Classico, they come from the older wines. But sometimes it's absolutely correct, but sometimes you also have surprises, because I remember the 2004 Lange Nebbiolo, it was a Barbaresco, and so sometimes it's even a surprise for Giorgio and for all of us. And now we have 2018. We will release the 2019 very soon. 18 was a great vintage, classic, a lot of finesse, and 19 is also great. I think we've been very lucky in Lange in the last vintages, because from 2010 every vintage may be a little bit different, but every vintage is great. Also 2017 is absolutely fantastic. You know, 2017 after 2016, which is considered a super iconic vintage, and it is so. But also 17 was a little bit more difficult at the beginning, but then for the producers who were lucky and also who who undertook good choices, good practice, would make wines which are absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, delicious. We will try the 17 Gallina, the 17 Bordini afterwards, and you will be very surprised about the finesse and the elegance.
Me to the very, very good thing. It means, okay, you know, in the last 20 years, the very, very, very warm vintage was 2003. It was very hot vintage, okay? You know, a lot of producers, they learn a lot from that vintage, from hot vintage. It means, okay, and now, okay, it was easy for us to manage 2017. It was not as warm as 2003, but it was quite warm vintage. But we did so many good things in the vineyard. It takes 2017 right now. it don't taste like wine from warm vintage. It tastes perfectly, yes, fantastic balance, no? Because we learn a lot from 2003, from our mistakes in 2003. You know what I mean? For example, you don't take, in 2017 we didn't take up the leaves. The leaves they were covering the fruit. We did a very strong grain harvest. It means, okay, we reduce the production. Normally we do less than 1 kilo fruit per vine, but in 2017 we did 500 grams per vine. Okay, if we harvested a little bit earlier, the tannin was ripe. It was not overripe, but it was ripe, and the alcohol was not too high. This is why when we taste Spinetta 17, you don't feel wine from warm vintage, because we did something very good in the vineyard.
I think 17, as Giorgio mentioned before, it had nothing to do with 2003 or with other vintages. Because especially for Nebbiolo, even if the summer was hot and more than hot, dry, because even the summer, the diurnal shifts was perfect. So at nighttime, the temperature was going down, so we had no problem. But September was beautiful. And for Nebbiolo, September is the most important month. So it can be hot or it can be maybe even before, but it's September when everything is decided. For Nebbiolo, it is September.
It was like 16 and like 18. Okay, we didn't harvest 10 days before. We harvest the fruit 1 day before, then 18 and then 19. Okay, yeah, you will be very surprised about this 2017. But thank God, not just Spinetta did a good job. If you buy 17 Barbaresco and Barolo, you will buy a great bottle of wine. Not just La Spinetta, from all the other producers. They did beautiful job. Also, the journalists in the beginning, they said, okay, it's great vintage, but it's too hard. After they taste the wine, they change the mind, and they gave to 17 vintage very high scores, and they will do fantastic job again with Barolo, because sometimes the journalists they are a little bit confused about that, no? Because when we talk about Tuscany, okay, I understand Tuscany, it was quite too dry, 17, but in Piedmont we are northern. It's a different thing, You can, in Piedmont, everything was manageable without any problem. It was not so hot as 2003, for sure not. And think about the aromas of this wine. It's unbelievable. The complexity of Nebbiolo is this one. It has beautiful roses, mint, eucalyptus, and dark fruit in the nose. You think about something very light, but it's not light. You taste, it has this kind of intensity, and the taste is very deep too. It means it's something you can enjoy with food immediately, because very approachable from the beginning. You want to keep, you can keep, but it is why I said before, Nebbiolo is something unique, because it is unique. I love Pinot Noir from Burgundy. I love a lot, but sometimes in the end, I miss the power. It's all about nose, all about fruit, all about flower in the nose, but at the end I miss the power. With Nebbiolo, never miss the power, because he has everything. It's complete, He has this kind of complexity. And this one is, yeah.
It comes from two single vineyards in Barbaresco. One is Starderi and the other one is Bordini. They are one in front of the other, but with two different soils, two different soil types. Starderi is more compact, is more limestone. Bordini is more sandy, so more perfumed, a little bit lighter. And so it has absolutely the typical Barbaresco character. It's only a little bit more approachable. So it has this intensity, as Giorgio was saying, but then in terms of drinkability, when it is released and you open the bottle, you can serve a glass and the wine is there and is talking to you and he wants to hug you and the wine is absolutely ready. But then it can age very well. Your son, Andrea, Giorgio, told me this morning that he opened yesterday a bottle of 2004, the first vintage of Langhe Nebbiolo, and the wine was absolutely super fit, full of energy. And so this is why it is a Barbaresco. But because of the seriousness and because of to respect also which is the philosophy that you undertook in the past, the idea is to have, eccolo qua, Sergio.
Hey, Sergio.
Welcome. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Sergio.
Good.
You have a glass of Nebbiolo in front of you or not?
Pardon?
You have a glass of Nebbiolo in front of you?
Yes, indeed.
Please, don't forget this.
Let me get it.
You're number 3.
Buon arrivo,
Cheers, guys.
Yes. You know, the aromas is fantastic on this wine. I think if somebody is not familiar with Nebbiolo, with Barbaresco Barolo, he has to start with great Langhe Nebbiolo to approach Barbaresco Barolo, because in the beginning, if you can feel all this complexity, but also if you can feel something much more approachable, much more round, no, to enjoy. After that, okay, you can move to Barbaresco and Barolo, because sometimes Barbaresco and Barolo, they're young, they are complex, but they could be also a little bit aggressive, no? Aggressive. This Langhe Nebbiolo is taking everybody in Nebbiolo world, in Barbaresco world, in Barolo world, because it did this. Because it's so sexy. I'm sorry I have to say that. It's very sexy wine, this one. Really, really. Not this one, the Nebbiolo. Okay, I talk about this wine. The Nebbiolo in general is very sexy wine. How are you, Sergio? Good?
I'm all right. How are you?
Very good, very good.
But the 6th of September, we are waiting for you here, guys.
I know.
Yeah.
I can fly tomorrow if I want. Now I get the vaccinations, no problem.
I've got both mine, so I'm all right now.
Oh, okay.
So the age.
He's too young for that. I'm sorry. He's too young. Look at this. Okay. Do you have some other questions?
Yes, there is a question from Francesco.
Tell me. I didn't see him. Sorry. Can you repeat?
He's asking if the wines are organic.
The wine?
Organic.
Oh, yeah, of course. All the Spinetta and Contratto wines are organic. We are working in organic way since 15, 20 years. And we are just request now the authorization because, okay, it takes time for that. You know, for La Spinetta, Contratto, all the wines that are organic. Okay, yeah. And 2020 Timorasso is going to have the organic, make with organic grapes, the green leaves. And 2021 Moscato, Rosé di Casanova, Vermentino, and little by little, all the wines that get this kind of stuff in there. But we don't do that because now it's very trendy. But we are doing that because we believe in that. Because my father used to believe in that. Because the only thing we have, very important thing, is the vineyards. It's very important for us to preserve that. Okay, to treat the vines well. It means no pesticide. It means no herbicide. It means not something stupid. Sorry. To be organic is kind of philosophy. It's not just because we want to put in the label, make with organic grapes, with organic wine. It doesn't make any sense if you don't have this kind of philosophy behind. Okay, before to decide, you must work with this philosophy. Yeah, and thank God in Piedmont there are so many producers that are working in the same way, in organic way. They don't use any pesticide and they use herbicide. They try to do the best to respect the environment. This is the most important thing, to respect the environment. Yeah, because the only very important thing is for us, they are the vineyards. And the only way for us to respect the vineyards is to do something good in the vineyards, for the ground, for the soil, and for the vines. And organic way is the only way. Okay, now we are going to have what do we have now? Bordini. Okay, no pin. Hasta il cartello così. Aspetta. Okay. Pin. Now we talk about something very important for a Spinetta, you know. Pin was the first very important red wine we made. 89, it was the first vintage. It was the first blend in La Spinetta. It's still the only blend in La Spinetta besides the Rosé di Casanova. Rosé di Casanova, yeah, Sangiovese and Prugnolo. All the other wines from Spinetta come from one grapes. And Pin is still blend with Nebbiolo and Barbera. In the beginning, it was 80% Barbera because our Nebbiolo vineyard was very small, and 20% Nebbiolo. Right now, we are around 70, 65, 70% Nebbiolo, and the rest is Barbera. And Ping is not a fantastic wine. You know why? Because Ping means my father's nickname. He has his own signature. Our father was fantastic farmer. He was the teacher. He was the mentor for us. He was the one who decided for us. He told us, okay, this is the way. Like I said before, you were not there, Sergio, but I said, okay, the quality way, it will be longer, he told us. It will be longer to reach the goal. But it's the only way for you guys. You live in Piedmont, you have vineyard in Langa, you have to do that. Go in this way. And it was very important for us, this kind of direction you gave to us in the time, yeah. And we are doing the best for this wine. We are using the best Barbera, we are using the best Nebbiolo because we really want to give the great interpretation, blend interpretation in Piedmont, not with Cabernet, not with Merlot, but with Barbera and Nebbiolo, two indigenous varietals from here. You know, this Barbera is giving to the Nebbiolo a little bit more approachability, no? It's even more approachable because Barbera doesn't have the Nebbiolo tanning, no? It doesn't have this aggressivity when it's young. And Nebbiolo is giving this, you know, the aromas, is giving the longevity, is giving this kind of Nebbiolo thing in this wine. This is beautiful restaurant wine because the price, because it's easy for everybody to understand. It's easy to understand Pin. It's easy also to keep in the cellar for 10, 15 years, 20 years without any problem. That's why we are selling very well this wine. And he has something very, very important for us. First of all, emotionally, because it was my father, it was Esante, our father nickname. And then it was also the first very important red wine we made. 89 was the first vintage, yeah. The production, we took about 6,000, 7,000 bottles. Not more than that. Very small. Very small production, but the quality is always very high, very high. It would be interesting for you guys to taste something older, very old vintage from Pin. My God. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. It would be great. Yeah, it would be great to really. If you are going to do something together in London, winemaker dinner or some good tasting, we are bringing with us some very old vintage Pin, like 96, 97, 2000, something just to taste, the idea about what it means, Pin. Yeah, the potential of this wine. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think about that when we start to make this wine. Also, some of the producers, they started to make this wine as well, like Montprat, like Arte, Rocca dei Manzoni. They were very important wine because in that time it was, but the Barbasco Barolo, they were not so popular. They were not so easy. Okay, and wine like this, they were opening the door to Barbaresco Barolo because okay, we try something from Lange. And it was easier for them to understand wine like this because it doesn't have this aggressivity, no? It's very round, very approachable. And after that, okay, people, they approach Nebbiolo. They went to Nebbiolo world. Yeah, Barbaresco Barolo world, yeah. Va bene? Possiamo continuare? We can continue to make this wine. What about? What do you think?
You sure?
Can we continue? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the authorization.
Yes. You got my blessing on that.
Yeah.
So just commenting that they're all different identities. You know, even being the same grape variety, because the soil is different, the height is different, they tend to be like individuals, so you can actually detect the different flavors in each wine. So it's outstanding. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
really good.
Thank you. That's a fantastic compliment for us. The question was about the maceration. Somebody asked for the maceration. Okay,
Yeah.
it depends on the vintage. Some vintage we do very, very long maceration for Nebbiolo, not Barbera, because Barbera doesn't need that because it doesn't have the sun in Barbera. No? It's very important to do shorter or longer maceration with Nebbiolo. Some vintage we do also 30 days maceration with the skin. Some other vintage we do 15 days. It depends on the vintage. Depends on the vintage. Because in the beginning I said something about the balance. It's very important for any producer to be able to find the balance in the fruit, but in the cellar you have to do something smart too. Okay, you cannot do if you have 2001 vintage, very very strong, very aggressive vintage. No, you are doing, I don't know, 2 months maceration. It doesn't make any sense. When we already have a lot of tannin in your fruit, do shorter maceration. If you have vintage like 2018, you can do long. Tannin is there, but it's not very strong. It's very soft. You can keep more tannin. It depends, but for sure from 15 to 30 days. It depends on the vintage. Yeah.
Also,
the temperature, yeah, true. Yeah. To control this is very important, the fermentation. No? Like Lucas said, okay, if it's very warm vintage, you have to do the maceration, but the temperature must be lower. It means not 30 degrees, but just 25, 23, 24. It depends. No? Because you don't need to extract a lot of things, no? Because it's already there. Questo cos'è? Cosa dice? Okay. We are using the spread. I like to say that when we talk about rotofermented, because think about if you produce I don't know 5,000 bottles of wine, you can wake up in the middle of the night every night for 15 days and to work in the cellar at 2 o'clock in the morning to push down the skin into the juice. But if you have different production, you cannot do that. You cannot control that. This is very important to choose one machine. Okay, I can say machine. Okay, it's working for you. What it means? You have this kind of program. You can decide to do 1 month fermentation with the skin, or you can decide to do 2 days fermentation. You can decide to have fermentation at 35 degrees or 15 degrees. It's doing exactly what you have to do, like you think is good to do. It's right to do. Like that you can control. In the night is turning. The night, okay, you can turn 1 time a day, you can turn 2 times a day, you can do 25 times a day. It depends what you want to do. For us, we are using this kind of machine just because we want to reduce the mistakes. Because you can do a lot of mistakes. If you start with underpoint fruit, grapes, if you are good, you reach 98 points in the glass. In the cellar, you can do a lot of mistakes. And one of the biggest mistakes is during the fermentation. You must be there. You must control. If you cannot do that, please, there's a machine. You can put as a computer. You can decide the temperature. You can decide how many tools you can do. You can do 1 month fermentation. You can do 15 days fermentation. But this for me is very important. I don't think about if you make some producers making wine with the rotofermented, making modern wine. No, it's making great wine. The goal for us is make great wine. Okay, no. In 2017, we had some vineyard. We got some frost. Okay, and it wasn't 6. Hello, do you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear?
Yeah, now with us now. Yeah.
Good.
Giorgio? Luca?
17 Barbaresco Bordini at the moment. So you moved to Barbaresco Bordini?
Barbaresco Bordini,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
We're talking about 17 vintage, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, 17 vintage. We have some frost. Okay, it was quite late because we took about 16 of April. We got there. 16 of April. Okay. It was quite late. We got some frost, but the frost it touched just the lower part of some vineyards. Thank God our vineyards they are very high elevation, and we had almost nothing. Almost nothing. Yeah. I know it was problem. It was a problem. For example, we had some problem in Tuscany, 17, got frost in Tuscany, but in Piedmont, I can tell you, we didn't find any damage about that. Okay, yeah, very lucky, very lucky. But also very lucky to have also the position on the vineyard, okay, exposure to the vineyard and the elevation of the vineyard. If you have the vineyard in the valley, every year you can get this problem. But if you have the vineyard, from 2,200 meter high elevation, it's quite rare to get this problem. Like this year, the same thing. In 2021, it was a very big problem in so many wine countries like France. There are a lot of problems with the frost. But for us in Tuscany again, we had some problem. It took about 10%, not more than that. But here, nothing, zero. Yeah. So are you in Bordini now? Okay, perfect. Wait too. Okay, Luca, bye. Okay, please.
Yes. So La Spinetta will produce 4 single vineyard Barbarescos, and the Langhe Nebbiolo, which is also, it's a blend of 2 single vineyards Barbaresco. Bordini is the name of the single vineyard. It is located in Neive. 3 out of 4 of the single vineyards Barbaresco La Spinetta is producing, they come from Neive. And the 3 have different soil type situations, while Gallina and Stardere, they share the same age of the vine, but different soil types and different exposure as well. So Bordini is, according to La Spinetta standards, a younger vineyard. It's about between 25 and 30 years old, and it is southeast exposed. And it has the majority of the soil is composed by very fine clay. We call it sand. It's not sand, but it's very fine, very loose soil, where generally speaking, the water drains very well, and so it is translated into wine with a lot of finesse, with a lot of elegance. I was born in Neive, and when I think my mind to the characteristics of what I want to find in a Barbaresco is always this super fine and delicate approach. And all these I always find in Bordini. Really, it has this approachability, this capability to be expressive, and it's very perfumed. And when I think to Barbaresco, for me, the perfumes, the fruit and the floral expressions are extremely important. I dream to find as soon as possible when I open the bottle. And in this 17, I do find them. I find these very vivid and bright fruit expression, red driven, especially in 2017. When I tasted 17 Barbaresco, specifically Bordini, I have these immediately. It reminds me to small red berries. In some vintages, like 16, it's more the black and dark fruit, while 17, maybe because it was a little bit warmer, because it was for sure drier, you have these red fruit expression, which is very immediate. I mean, in my nose at least. Then it's very personal, as you know. Acidity is there also. Maybe a characteristics of the 17 is that it has this nice, brilliant acidity on the 17. Yes, this I can say, but the balance is there. The pleasure is there, the approachability is there. Is again a wine which is ready and approachable and enjoyable right now. And it was so a year ago when it was released. This is a great advantage of the 17th. The producer who were more lucky, who did a better job in the vineyard, they could produce wines which are absolutely pleasant, approachable, beautiful to drink, beautiful to drink.
And on top of that, okay, for sure, 17 has fantastic longevity. Think about that. Like 2000, a lot of people think, 2000 is a little bit too round. It's not true. The great 2000, they were great, okay, 10, 15 years ago, and they are still fantastic wine now. It depends. But the longevity is there for sure, because the balance is there. And this is great wine for the restaurant too, because you have fantastic price for to be La Spinetta, for to be one of the most important Barbaresco you can find in this area. It's beautiful price. Somebody want to try one bottle of Bordini, want to enjoy one bottle of Bordini, it means, okay, it doesn't have to spend more than, I don't know, 100 pounds, 90 pounds for a bottle like this. It's a monument. It's not wine anymore, it's a monument. It is a rhino monument. Okay, guys, we are moving to Barolo. I can hear you. What about the, we don't hear you guys. Oh, nice.
So which, do we move to the Barolo or do you want to taste Barbaresco? Which one
no, we do Barolo now.
Barolo.
Barolo?
So we go on the Garretti.
Okay. Garretti. You know, we bought this vineyard in 2000, Campe vineyard. One of the most beautiful vineyard. Sergio, you saw the vineyard.
Yes.
Without exposure, the vines now, they are, I think, 70 years old, more than 70 years old. One piece of land. It's not easy to find almost 7 hectares of vineyard, okay, in one piece in Barolo. It's quite not easy to find. You know, I bought this property, and the first time I saw the exposure, east, southeast, south, southwest, the best, like this, no? Like a panettone, you know what I mean? Panettone? Okay, this is panettone Barolo. You know, and then we made the first one we made, it was 2000. And we were very, very lucky because, first of all, because we bought this beautiful vineyard, but also because, you know, Sackling at the time, it was part of one spectator. They gave to 2000 vintage Barbaresco and Barolo 100 point. And Barolo Campe, the first score I got, it was 99, 98, I don't remember. It was quite easy for us to build the Campe, the Lion brand in the market, you know, because people, they taste this wine. It was very, very, this Sackling was pushing a lot for this vintage. The wine, the Barolo Campe 2000, like I said before, is still one of the best wine we made so far in Barolo, in this vineyard. And really, it was quite easy to build the brand of our Barolo Campe in the market. We have this kind of piece of land, the vineyard is quite big, and there we are doing 3 different selections. The first selection is about Campe Riserva, where we are collecting the fruit from the higher part of the vineyard, where the vines are very old, 80, 85-year-old vines. And we do Spezia Riserva, Magnum only, and we are releasing Barolo Campe Riserva after 10 to 15 years in our cellar. It means now we are in 2008 now, Barolo Campe Riserva. Magnum only, and we do 600, 1000 Magnum, depends on the vintage. The fruit from the middle part of the vineyard is going to produce Campe with the orange label, with a different bottle shape. The fruit from the lower part of the vineyard is going to do the Barolo Garretti. Okay, what that? Because in the middle part of the vineyard, okay, the soil, you go down 1 meter. Okay, after that you can find the stone, no, and the roots are going so deep in this kind of clay, okay, and they find some special minerals. You go down the vineyard, okay, you know, the soil is more generous. This is why this Garretti is very generous wine. It's not heavy. It's not over not overstrut, but it's generous wine. He has this kind of beautiful complexity, but it's also very round, also very, very approachable. This is why we decided to do these three different selections. And Garretti 2017 is fantastic expression of 17 vintage. Okay, are you testing 16 or 17 now? Let me. 16. Okay.
2017.
17. You know, this is why you can feel that. You can feel that the big difference between Barbaresco and Barolo is this one. Barbaresco is a little bit more skinnier, no, than Barolo. Barolo has different shoulder. Don't ask me why, because we are doing the same in the vineyard. The vines, they are almost the same age, same exposure. But you know, this is Barolo. This is Barolo. Barbaresco has different things. Okay, Barbaresco is much more elegant than Barolo. It doesn't have the same power, the same shoulder. It's beautiful, elegant wine. I can say Barbaresco is much more Burgundy wine, Burgundy, okay, Burgundy style. Barolo has different power. I love this Garretti 17 because it's fantastic representation of 17 vintage in Barolo.
Sorry, excuse me. When you know that Nebbiolo is very sensitive to soil types, and there are 3 or 4 different kinds of soil types, and in the Barolo area, which is wider than Barbaresco, sometimes the differences are even more evident and pronounced. But when you have a vineyard like Garretti, the total Garretti single vineyard counts on about 15 hectares, and La Spinetta owns about 7.5 hectares. And you have a different altitude. So you have from 400 meters on the hilltop to 200 at the bottom of the hill. And you have different kinds of layers. It is like having a Barolo Classico, in a way. Giorgio, don't get me wrong. Because you have so many different soil types that it is a single vineyard, but being this size, you also have different personalities, different characters coming from different soils. Same microclimate, but different soils. So it's like having a Barolo blend from several vintages, all concentrated on the same hillside. So that is why, for me, Garretti is so complex. It has the ability to be fine, elegant, concentrated, rich. It has everything together. It concentrates, for me, it concentrates a little bit all the panorama of the Barolo different soil types and areas. So it has the drinkability and the fruit and the pleasure of La Morra, and it has a little bit the austerity of Serralunga or Monforte and the power. It has a little bit everything. It is not easy because most of single vineyard, they are coming from very small plots and they have this or that personality. But having all together from a vineyard is not very common. No,
it's completely true. Yeah, I like to say Campivigna is representing everything in Barolo. It means you can have the aromas, you can have the approachability from La Morra, something very sexy. After that, you go up to Monforte, you go up to Serralunga in one glass. This is the best thing. This is why Campe or Garretti is Barolo for all the people they want to have great Barolo taste. It means somebody is not familiar with Barolo, you can find this kind of part more approachable. Somebody want to have the real and the very strong Barolo taste from Serralunga, he can get this one also from Garretti or Campe. Perfetto. Just some question? Poi andiamo avanti. Don't forget the last one will be the best one we are making, Moscato. Don't forget this. At the end of the day. Okay.
Are you sure it's the best wine,
The best wine, the best Moscato for sure. You know this Moscato since a long time. Okay. Okay, we are going now. We have a Barbaresco Gallina. Okay. Wow. I'm happy because today we are going to taste. We are going to taste all this those 17 Like that, you can have a better idea what it means. Before we were talking about 17, for us it was great vintage, you know. This is the point, you know. You can have this expression of Barbaresco Bordini and Barolo Garretti, and now we are going to taste Barbaresco Gallina. It means different vineyards, different expression, but all they are fantastic. And Gallina is always famous because it's giving to the wine the elegance. You know what? Somebody is, maybe I don't know if you remember this guy. It was, the name was Robert. Bob Parker. You know somebody like Parker? Okay, yeah, it's quite famous. Okay, he told me. Okay, not here, but in the United States, quite famous. Anyway, the first when they taste Barbaresco Gallina, he said, "It's the most sexy wine I never had in my life." It was not some long time ago. Okay, because Gallina, he has everything really. It's like a beautiful. Can I be honest now? I'm always honest, but now it's basically okay. It's like a beautiful, unbelievable girl, elegant, no makeup, very elegant, very deep. It's something. It's somebody you can maybe not easy for you to talk about. Okay, not okay. You watch like this, but you don't want it. It's because it's so unique, so elegant, so deep. It's beautiful Barbaresco expression. And the first one who was making Barbaresco Gallina, it was Mungia Cosa. It was buying a fruit in this vineyard, in Gallina vineyard. But it was a mistake from him because he didn't buy the vineyard. And one day the owner of the vineyard decided to sell the fruit to somebody else. And Mungia Cosa stopped. I had this great opportunity, experience to taste Giacosa Gallina. It was the most elegant Barbaresco it was made at the time. And when we got this great opportunity to buy this vineyard, I said, we have to buy this vineyard. And this Barbaresco Gallina always has this great character. Fantastic. The nose is more about fruit, flowers, roses, eucalyptus, mint, something like that. Not like a Stradivarius, it's more about fruit. This very elegant wine, beautiful wine. And 17 vintage. Yeah. And I think it became one of the most important Barbaresco the last 10, 15 years for all Barbaresco era. Yeah, a lot of producers, when they want to say something about Barbaresco, they always compare their own Barbaresco or some other Barbaresco to Gallina Barbaresco. Yeah, it's aging very well. I had one bottle of 96 Gallina just a couple of days ago. I was in Germany. It was a present from my friend. 96 Gallina, the second vintage. It was monument again. It was fantastic one. It was still young, but very elegant. We had maybe that night we had 20 bottles of wine. The only one it was empty, it was Barbaresco Gallina 1996. Don't ask me which other wine we had because we went to Bordeaux, to Burgundy, went to Spain, went around that. But Gallina, it was the only one it was empty. Yeah. Cheers with Gallina. You know the funny story about Gallina? Okay, when we bought this vineyard, Gallina vineyard, and we started the production, was 1995. You know, Gallina means chicken, no? And Gallina and we decided to use this rhino. We put the rhino on the label and the Vigneto Gallina and the label as well. For all the producers, said, oh, there's something wrong here. Something doesn't match. Rhino and the label Gallina Sotto. It was Vigneto Gallina. Because it was the first vintage we started to use the rhino. You know, the rhino, because not just because we like it, it wasn't kind of marketing decision, no? To use the rhino and to build the brand La Spinetta under the rhino. No, it wasn't that. We decided with our friend in Tuscany to use this rhino for our wine, but in the end of the day, it became La Spinetta logo. Now people, they go to the restaurant in the United States, in Tokyo, in London, in Milano, and they're asking for rhino wine. They don't know if it's Barbera di Pian for 50 euros or this is Barbaresco Gallina 2006 for 500 euros, but it's rhino wine. And then we are using this label for all La Spinetta wines, besides the Campe and the Garretti, because for those Barolo, we are using the lion from the same artist, Albert Dürer. Albert Dürer was the most important artist, 15th century. We are using the same artist, yeah. Okay. What do you think? Again, be honest with me, Sergio, okay? Can we continue to make this wine or we have to stop?
You keep going on, please.
Keep going.
Going on, yeah. And I mean, I was saying to Rosalinda, probably one of the lucky ones. I have to check into my cellar, but I still have some 96 Galina somewhere. So next time that you come over, we can have a taste together on that.
Okay.
Yeah, great stuff.
Oh, fantastic.
I hope you spoke to all of them regarding the quantity of grapes that you produce per vine, because it's important that people understand what to do behind your vineyard. Because, you know, I'm talking about rotavator, but actually, if the product doesn't come in stock form into the cellar, you will never be able to produce wines like that.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. This is a good question. It's something very, very important for us to talk about that. No, because okay, if you think about, and I want to something different about La Spinetta. If you think about La Spinetta, okay, the biggest production in La Spinetta is Moscato, and the Toscan wine, the Rosé, the Vermentino, and the Casanova. After that, we have a Barbera Cadipian. We go down to Langhe Nebbiolo, but the gap is very, very big. But when we talk about Barbaresco, Galina, we talk about 6,000 bottles. We talk about Starderi, more or less the same. Valeriano, even less. Barolo, 7,000 bottles. Okay, you know, it's nothing. Because just I was in the beginning, I was talking about green harvest, something like that. Just to be clear, by law, you can produce 8,000 bottles per hectare, Barbaresco and Barolo. Our production is not more than 2,500, 3,000 bottles per hectare. It depends on the vintage. This is the point. I was talking also about to respect the varietal, to respect the grapes, to respect the vineyard, the vines. This is respect, because our wines they don't have any stress, because we don't ask for 3 kilos of fruit per vine. We ask for less 1 kilo, and that we don't have to use any chemical fertilizer. What they find in the ground is enough. Perfect. No, this is why we can work with 75, 85, 95-year-old vines with Barbera da Superiore. We go up to that. This is the most important thing. This is part of the philosophy. But thank God, it's not just our philosophy, not just La Spinetta philosophy. Of course, we were one of the first to work with this philosophy. And after that, okay, a lot of producers from Piedmont, they follow us. And they're working with the same idea in the vineyard. This is the most important thing we do. And if you are going to visit some of the great producer, Barbaresco producer, the production, of course, is not going to be lower than La Spinetta, but it's quite close. It could be 4,000 bottles, it could be 5,000 bottles per hectare, but not 8,000 bottles per hectare. You know, all the great producers are working in this range from 3,000 bottles, 2,500 to 5,000 bottles per hectare. This is the range we are working altogether. Yeah, and does it make sense? If this is why when you taste La Spinetta wine, you taste wine, and you can find immediately this is La Spinetta, because if you put all together, it's like a mosaic, no? All together, everything is organic in the vineyard, old vine, low hills, small production, okay? And we harvest the fruit when the fruit is 100% ripe, not overripe, not underripe, but you can put it together, you feel this aromas, you feel this character from the grapes. You cannot be confused with Barbera Spinetta and Nebbiolo Spinetta. You can feel in Barbera, and you can feel in Nebbiolo. And we are so happy if you don't feel my hand in La Spinetta wine. You don't have to feel my hand. You have to feel the character from the vineyard, the character from the grapes. This is the most important thing for us. We are just expression. We are just person. They try to expressing the character from the vineyard and the variety into the glass. That's it, nothing else. And we are no superstar. A lot of producers are superstar. No, we are not. We are not. We are just farmers. This is what we have to do. This is what the producers have to do. To be farmer, always. Farmer here, and here. Sorry, now I'm drinking a glass of wine, that's it. Ciao, eh? Maybe better for me if I don't drink more. Okay. Moscato. Via. Moscato. Moscato. Now Moscato. Moscato was the first one we made. My two brothers, myself, my father, my sister. Biancospino was the first one. Yeah. Moscato was very important. The time is still very important right now because we talk about the biggest production in bottles. Okay, in number in La Spinetta is Moscato. And thank God we have fantastic vineyard. Biancospino vineyard. We talk about southeast exposure, very fresh wine. A lot of fruit, a lot of aromas, herbs in the nose. It's beautiful wine, good acidity. After that, we have another big vineyard is Quaglia, Brico Quaglia. This is why we are working with two different labels. One is Biancospino, the one is Brico Quaglia. But think about that. Before I was saying something about the balance. In the Moscato, the balance is very, very important because thank God in Moscato d'Asti, you can find great Moscatos with balance, but there are so many modern Moscato from everywhere in the world, including California. I'm sorry, but I have to say that. Emilia Romagna do Moscato. But the balance is not there. You can feel just something sweet. You can just taste the balance between the acidity and the sweetness and the minerality is so important. Moscato La Spinetta is something you can enjoy. You can drink, you can sip, you want to drink another glass. We want to finish the bottle because everything is on balance. No? Yes, it's on balance. And this great wine, it's beautiful wine. Think about it, because 5% alcohol, not even 5% alcohol. Something you really want to enjoy to drink. And at the end of the dinner or the lunch, you have maybe 2 glasses of white or 2 glasses of red. The last glass must be something easy, not 15%. No, something easy. You really want to enjoy. It's refreshing your taste. It's fresh your mouth. No? And the Moscato is like this. And it's aging well too. It's aging well. If you taste 3-4 years old Moscato, it's not problem at all. Yeah.
Well, can I say something regarding the apartment that is in front of me there? Okay. When I decided a few years ago to go down to La Spinetta, I was told by someone, okay, that's the guy that is so mad that is actually making Moscato from single vineyards, right? I have to say, when I was there, and it was Giorgio had a very, very big table of Moscato at that time, okay? It wasn't as big in Barbaresco, but it was coming through in a very big way in there. I have to say that the Moscato that I tasted was possibly, to me, was brainwashing. I really thought that, you know, Moscato is not an easy wine to produce. You have to be a great technician, okay, to produce it. But at the same time, you have to have a lot of passion for the grape, for the vine. And that's what Giorgio was at that time. That's what Giorgio is today to me. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And this is what my father said to us, okay? One day he said to us, okay, it doesn't matter if you do Barbaresco, you do Barolo, you work in Nebbiolo or Moscato. Okay, don't think Moscato is not very important grape. No, if you work with Moscato, you have to do the best in the vineyard and the sap because you have to make the best Moscato. And like Barolo, if you want to start with Barolo, please do your best in the vineyard and to make the best Barolo. This is why La Spinetta is very consistent. You know what I mean? People that can buy Moscato, they can find one of the best Moscato they can have. And there's some about Barolo, there's some about Pinot, there's some about Barbera, there's some about Toscan wine or Contratto. You know, our goal is this one. Not huge. With our vineyard, you know what we can do? We can do 3 million bottles of wine with our vineyard. We own the vineyard between Tuscany and Piemonte. I don't want to tell you what we are doing. 30% less. Yeah. No, 30% no.
I think I have a nice story to tell. This one was for me a very good lesson. It was a very good lesson. Some years ago, our Moscato became quite successful and known in Chinese market. Chinese market is a new market, you know, as you know, and as it happened in other markets, they started to approach wines, Italian wines, and Moscato became popular and easy to drink and so on. So many producers started to sell their Moscatos, and the market demand for Moscato became huge. So we had a lot of demand, and to me, I'm also, my origin is being from a farming family, so I asked Giorgio, George, is there a way to produce more of our Moscatos? Because from China, we have a huge demand and they are paying the price and there is no problem. And Giorgio, the first 2-3 times I gave this question, he never answered me. Then one day, 8 o'clock in the morning, he said, okay, this is the last time you will ask me this because I will never increase my production. I will never buy grapes and we will keep to produce the Biancospino and the Bricco Quaglia with the vineyards we have because I am too worried about the quality I want to produce. I want to keep this quality, I want to maintain, and I'm sorry, please answer your customers that this is the quantity we can allocate to them because we pretend to maintain this kind of quality. And this was for me a very important lesson. So not the market, but the quality. In spite of a very good business opportunity, because it was a very good business opportunity. So it was a very good lesson.
You know, it's like this year, no, 2020, we all sold out in February. And they know. No, we are checking the numbers again. We cut. No, now it's the last 5,000 bottles we have. We are going to deliver that. And we cut a lot of the orders. Yeah. But it's good problem to have. Okay, if somebody wants to do good quality, this is a fantastic problem to have. Okay. Finished. You know, it's because respect. It's not all about business. Okay, of course you have to do business because we have to survive because a lot of people that are working with us. But you know, it's a different thing. And beginner said to you, no, guys, my father said, take this way, the quality way. It will be tough. It will be a long way to go, but it's the only way you can reach what you want to do, your goal. Yeah. Hey. Quando ci vediamo in Piemonte? When you are coming to business?
Non lo so, però aspetto settembre qua, di sicuro.
Sì, sicuro.
E poi in Piemonte magari è la volta che ho bisogno di vedere tu con Rosalinda, perché voglio fargli vedere a lei. Yeah.
D'accordo?
D'accordo.
Rosalinda, sei d'accordo?
Sì, molto d'accordo.
Okay. C'è una questione? Aspetta.
I just wanted to say to thank Rob. Thank you so much, Rob, for organizing this. Yeah, great. Thanks.
Grazie mille a voi.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank guys, everybody. I'm waiting for you in September. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I want to stay 1 week minimum, 1 week. Just 1 day work and 1 week around. Okay?
I will try to have 2 more days, maybe.
Okay.
Ciao.
Thank you, everybody.
Ciao. Thank you very much.
Ciao.
Thank you.